This is Eduardo Jumbo. In this tutorial, we're going to create a procedural sky texture using JavaScript with no libraries at all. Before we begin, quick reminder that every day I host a live stream. You visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, then live sub menu. You can see the topic for today's tutorial is JavaScript procedural sky texture, the channel it's going to be on, and the day and time. And these are topics for future live streams. Each article under the live submenu is going to have a snippet at the top. It will tell you the exact day and time. It's always going to be Eastern time, and you're free to ask any programming or lifestyle topics. The place where you can do that, there's a link here. You click on it, take you to the channel. You can log in, then you can live chat during the live stream, or you can also have some requests, and I do reply when I see it. Of course, if you don't want to do that, just watch a video, or you can watch the embedded video on ojambo.com. I'll show you that down further in this article. So we're also going to use vanilla JavaScript. The reason I'm going to use vanilla JavaScript is because when you use vanilla JavaScript, your code will still be relevant way into the future. So you don't have to change things. If you use libraries, you need to update the library, and then some things will break, and then you have to tweak it. So that's why I use vanilla JavaScript. It just makes life easier, meaning that this tutorial will still be relevant 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Okay, so procedural textures can bring life and realism to web graphics without relying on external images or libraries. A quick reminder to also subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. So we're going to create a very simple yet visually appealing blue sky with soft, fluffy clouds entirely in vanilla JavaScript, no dependencies. So you learn how to use the value noise to generate the natural looking clouds and a subtle color variation to the sky to avoid the flatness. Plus, you get handy buttons to generate new cloud patterns and download your creation. So if you see here, it might be a little bit hard to see, but if you see, like, for example, right here, it's not flat, it's not just flat color. There's some variations in there. And then you see this one here, it actually looks like a duck, but it's actually, yeah. So those are little things you can see, and you see this, it's like a slash. I don't know if you can see that coming through. So those are the type of patterns you want to have, so it's not just a flat color. And then I'll show you how to also download this image. So with that said, so we're going to create a noise grid. So, and then we'll have some random values. So the grid will be 17 by 17. And then if you know anything about programming, so when you put a number, because the counting starts at actually 0. So that's why even if it's 16, it's actually 17. Okay, and then what else are we going to do here? So we're going to interpolate the noise. I've already explained that. So we actually we want to smooth it just a little bit to avoid very hard edges. And then we're also going to generate the clouds because otherwise, even if you look outside, usually there's a little bit of a cloud or some cloudiness, just minor enough. It's never a perfectly blue or grayish sky. So that's what we're going to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the noise value to a power greater than 1. So for example, 2.5. Then we can add some variation to avoid the flat, boring sky. We've got a second layer with a lower noise frequency. And then we'll moderate between the blue and green channels, and that will give it a more natural look. Okay, so basically we're going to create two buttons. One button obviously will generate the clouds. The second button would download the texture. And here's the complete code here. So I am working on a way to take a lot of my code snippets here and put them on something like a GitHub, so you guys can go there and get it. I just want to embed it. The reason I haven't done that yet is because, for example, like this tutorial, I probably won't come back to, but something like, say, the chicken webcam series, that one's a perfect project that could go on, for example, on GitHub. But something like this, or maybe I could create one big group and call it textures and put JavaScript. I could probably do that as well. So if you guys have any suggestions, I'm open to it. And it doesn't have to be GitHub. It could be something else like, I don't know, not SourceForge, GitLab or something like that as well. Okay, so the reason I leave it here is just much more easier. Just click expand and you can grab it. So I've already explained why I'm using vanilla.js. And then as you can see, this is what the output's gonna look without it being styled. And this is what it will look like when it's actually styled. You see this generate clouds and download texture. And then when you download it, you see it will come up here, and you can have it on your desktop or let's say you're on your workstation or your computer. It's just a computer. Okay, and this is the live video. As you can see here, if I play, yeah. So you see this live. This is live right now. So to follow along, you can follow along with any text editor. You can even use the web IDE for the Learning JavaScript course on jamboshop.com, which will work in a web browser. Just make sure you make the code work in a new web browser window. And you're going to need a web browser and navigate to the URL, or just drag and drop the HTML file into your web browser. So both JavaScript and CSS, which we're going to use today, those are standards, and they're maintained by the W3C. That's a World Wide Web Consortium. They all usually licensed under some permissive license. So there you go, which obviously allows commercial use, modification, display, and making it proprietary. Okay, with that said, we're also going to use the HTML5 Canvas API. So let's get started with that. So I'm going to, okay, let me see here what I need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder. Let me call it, what should I call this? Procedure Sky, I guess. Okay. Oh, come on. I'm going to create a folder and I'll call it Procedure. I'm going to probably spell that wrong. Procedure Sky. We'll go inside here and then I'll, come on. Okay, there we go. So I've created a folder here called Procedure Sky. This is really irrelevant, and then I'm gonna open in a console here. Okay, let's do that one more time. Open in terminal. There we go. So I'll clean this up. I'll zoom in. I'll just make a file. Oh, you know what? I just realized something. I could actually just take this and drag it into NetBeans. So yeah, I could have done that. Okay, so I'll just create one anyway. So I'll just say touch. Why is this not zooming in? Huh, that's weird. It's not zooming in. It doesn't want to zoom in. Shift? Okay, I have to use shift. Okay, there we go. So touch. I'll just call it procedural sky.html. Okay, so I'll use NetBeans. NetBeans I'm using NetBeans 25. I wonder if there's a new version of NetBeans. Okay, so here we go. It opened up, so I'll put it here. Before I do that, I want to drag this file into NetBeans. Here we go. Okay, I'll zoom in. Okay, so what we'll do, let's get started here. We need a doc type. Doc type, it's HTML. And then we need some HTML tags. Okay, we need a head section. And in the head section, I'm just going to copy this because this part is not really relevant. But if you want some styles, you can take a look at the styles I'm using. I'll explain this. So the body, I just chose this font and sans serif, it's fine. And the text line center, margin 20. And the canvas, I gave it a little border around it. And then I also give it a margin bottom of 12 pixels. And for the buttons, give them a margin of 5 pixels, a padding of 10 pixels, top and bottom, and left and right 15 pixels. Font size I made it 16, made the cursor pointer. That's it. And then the body section, you don't need to style it, but it just makes things look a little bit, what do you call it? Prettier. Okay, so I don't want to make mistakes. So I'm just going to copy and paste this in here. And I'll just explain it. So let's go up. So first you need some HTML elements. So let me zoom out here a little bit. Okay, so in the canvas, I gave it an ID so I can target it. You could have class is fine as well. And then you see these are the two buttons. There's generate button and the download button. They're just buttons. You can use anything else. Can even be links if you want, or just divs. Just buttons are easier to visually see and style. And then you can see here in this in JavaScript we start. So I get the canvas, get element by ID. You can, as I said before, you can also use a query selector. So you don't have to use get element by ID. You could also use it. So you can say query selector, and then just use the CSS selector. You can do that as well. Then for the canvas, we get the context 2D. This is two-dimensional. And we get the width and height, and then we set the grid size member to 16, but it's actually going to be 17 by 17. And then the grid, we create a placeholder array to hold our grid. And then we have these functions, which will actually will be useful when we actually start using the noise, and we need to loop through the grid just to create, for example, here we generate our grid function here. So it has a new grid. And the size, remember the grid size, we say so it will be 17 by 17. So this is for the y's, and this is for the x's. And the x's will be just random. We use the math random built-in function of JavaScript. And then we just return the new grid. So whoever requests this function will just get the new grid. And then this is the noise, x, y, and the scale. So what we do is gx and gy, just x divided by the width, and the grid size times the scale. The scale is 1 here, and then that's if you don't pass in a scale. If you pass in a scale, it will use that. If you don't, it will default to this one. So this is a way where you can pass in default values as your arguments. That's how you do it in JavaScript. This also works. This also works in PHP. And any other language that does allow it. Okay, the same for gxy, and then we have x0 and y0. Again, we use the floor. That's the bottom instead of the top. The values, and then we have the tx and ty. So this will be for the texture. And then, as you can see here, we use a modulus. That means the remainder. And you can see this is how we take care of it. Just get the remainder values for the coordinates. And then we have the top, we have the bottom, and we have that function I showed you earlier that we just pass in the top and bottom and the texture coordinate. And then we have one to render it. So what we do is render it on the context of the canvas. So you create image data, the width and height, and then we get the data from the context of the canvas. And then after that, we add some cloud noise. You can see we have x and y based on the width and height. So we just create the noise. We use the power function. I mean the power 2, power, you know, like 2 to the power of 2. That's the math 2 here. So the noise. We have a threshold. I set to 0.5. We have a cloud factor. And here we use max, and so remember we use flow. So now the max, the highest one, cloud noise minus the cloud threshold, then times 2. And then we want to bump it, otherwise it's going to look also, it won't look as nice. So we bump it, meaning that the cloud will be, it will look like it's overlaid on top of the of the sky. So that's why we need a little sky bump. So this is how we create a sky bump. Again, we use the noise. We moderated bump noise, as you can see here, RGB colors, and then we blend the sky and the cloud colors, because if you actually see, when you look at the sky, it kind of looks like it's blended into the sky, even though in reality, I'm talking about us humans, or how we see it, but in reality what's actually happening is the clouds are actually closer to us and the sky is actually farther away, but it's just a visual look, especially when you have a picture or a bitmap image. So for the RGB, I use that function we created before, and then I create a pass in some the RGB colors in here, and then we put everything onto the context or the canvas. And then after that we can generate. So this just generates and we'll render. And then after that, for the download button, once you click it, it will create dynamically it will create a hyperlink, the anchor tag, and it will download. You see, to give it a name called blueskiesclouds.png, and then it will take the whatever is in the canvas, it will convert it into a PNG file, and then it will automatically click, so you don't have to click it. Usually to download you need some type of human intervention, so we don't want to do that. So that's how we do this, and this will force it to download. So yeah, an option I could have done is I could simply have had an href. Sorry, I could have had an hyperlink and style it as like the button. So when you click it, it will automatically grab whatever's on the canvas, and then you can download. That's another option to do as well. So as you can see here, I have the get element by ID. I said this could also be query selector. And then you generate button. So when you click that, it will generate a new texture. And there's other one, download button. That will, when you click it, it will run this download function. And then by default, we generate one. So you technically don't need this. If I remove this, it will just be empty. Then you have to click. So for example, if I don't have this, I'll comment it out. You have to. So let me grab this file. I don't think it's going to run in this privacy browser. That's one of the problems of having a privacy browser, is that you can't run things locally. Yes, it will say it's not found, which is actually not true. So I'll just copy this and put it into I'll use the Chromium browser. So as you can see, this is the canvas and it's empty, which is fine. So if I click on generate clouds, you see it generates one here. Now if I keep on clicking generate, you see the cloud changes because it's random. So you just keep on clicking until you find something you like. Yeah, so they're all random. So as you can see here, so let's say I like this one and I want to download it. So if I click download texture, and you can see, look at the name, Blue Skies Clouds. Obviously I've done this before, that's why it adds the 2 there. So if I click this to show in folder, and you see here's my image here, and here it is, and you see the size, it's 512 by 256. And this is the others I did earlier. See, this is this one here, and then there's this one here. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's go back, and so you can fool around with these numbers. So for example, let's go back to the code, and yeah, I'll auto generate it so the first time this runs. So if we go back here, for example, where were we? Like here, the noise here, if I don't like this one and I want maybe stronger noise, so let's change this to 6, the sky bump, and let's refresh this now. So you can see this is the bump here, and then we can also change the numbers. For example, for the threshold here, let's give it a smaller threshold for the cloud and see what that does. There we go. You see, this is what when you change the threshold does. So there you go. And what else can we do? So another thing you can also change is, there was a number, the scale size. So let's change this maybe to 1.5 as the default. Okay, I think that doesn't work because we have, let's see what other values we can change. Some other numbers. So this is the grid size, so I can change the grid size. So let me change, oh, here we go, the canvas. So what's, I think it's 640, is it 600? 600 by, I think it's 360. Just a second, let me figure out 1280. Oh, I know. I'll say 1280 by 720. Oh yeah, I was right, it is 640. Okay, let's see what that one looks like. So there you go. So if I want to, let's say, generate some, yeah, so there you go. I don't know if you can see, this is what I was trying to say. You see how this perfectly blended into it? So it's not a flat image. So if you don't want clouds, you can also just do that. And the colors, I'm sure you can see some greenish colors and stuff in there. So that's what I wanted to show you. Now, if you remember, it's now 1280 by 720. So if I click download texture, let's look at this guy here. So as you can see, this is actually, you see the size here, image size is actually 1280 by 720. So that's how you control how large you want it to be. And this one actually, this actually reminds me of like some B movie from back in the 1950s. You know, when someone would have the hand pretending they're like flying through space. Yeah, this is actually what it looks like. Or even the Star Trek from the 60s. Yeah, so there you go. So that's, you can generate different textures just from noise. As you noticed, there was no libraries. It's just plain JavaScript. As I said, you can fool around until you get something that you like, and you can create other type of textures all from noise. Now, obviously, would I do this? For demonstration purposes, absolutely. For example, what would this be good for? Remember when we created the image capture or the capture? So if you want like a texture, you can create this as well. Maybe put, append some text here for your image capture. There's other things you can do as well for things like that. But I said I would prefer to create it in something like GIMP or Blender or using Python. But this does give you an option. And I said this was just a simple tutorial. You can easily take this to lots of other textures. For example, if we get rid of the clouds, I can just do maybe just add some more clouds, but give it a bump, and then it could be like dirt or some other like wooden type texture. You can do that as well. Just make this brown, and that will work as well. So then all these little bumps you see, this could be like wood. Maybe like knots. Remember, they're randomized, so if you want them in a pattern, you can do that as well. Okay, so I think that's it. Let me zoom out here as well. So the entire code I said is on ojambo.com. You can go and take a look at it. So as I said, I didn't go through the styles too much here because you can style anywhere. The styles are actually irrelevant. But I said usually when you do HTML, people want something to look a little bit better. You can do that. You can style this any way you want. For example, the buttons here, I can make the background blue, right? For the sky, I can do things like that. So for example, if I did that, you see they're blue. So that doesn't look nice. So the color, I should have made this one white actually, but you get the point. So I should have actually made that color white, and then the font weight should have been bold, as an example. See, there we go. So as I said, you can do you can style it any way you want. So that's it. So let's finish this up. Close this. Close NetBeans. We don't need this. Can finish up here. So this is just a quick one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you need help with JavaScript, HTML, website design, everything that, just give me a shout. I can help you out. Or you can leave comments in the description, or you can just contact me right on ojambo.com. There's a contact page. Okay, so also quick reminder that I do host a live stream every single day. You visit ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, live sub menu, you can see the topics for the upcoming live streams, the day they're going to be on, and the what channel they will be hosted on. Be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. And if you enjoy this, consider supporting me. You can purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojambo.com. You can enroll in my programming courses at ojamboshop.com. You can also buy my programming books on Amazon. The latest book is called Master Blender Python API. It's available in paperback or ebook. Search for Edward Ojambo, links in the description. And you can also hire me for your programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com. You can also become a donor at ojambo.com/donate. I do have links for Bitcoins. So if you guys want to donate that way, let me know. I can start adding them somewhere. Okay, now with that said, I don't see any chat requests, so I am going to end this. Be sure to subscribe and like. Thank you. Now see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day.